Thank you and welcome to today's event, Boosting E-Commerce Adoption, Effective Tactics from Search to Repurchase. I'm Action Associate, Industry Marketing Specialist Jason Axted, and today we'll discuss how whether you're thinking about beginning your e-commerce journey, just starting out, or looking to refine your approach, this presentation will give you the insights and tools you need to thrive in the e-commerce landscape. At the end of the presentation, we'll have time to answer your questions, and as always, this will be recorded, so if anything you think you may have missed, you can always watch it online on our YouTube channel or reach out to Action to schedule a demo. Today's presenter is Adam Cusimano, EVP of Product and Marketing at Unilog. He brings years of experience through pre-sales, solution selling, and software systems consulting. He's worked with both domestic and international customers in the automotive, pharmaceutical industries, as well as federal and state governments. So, Adam, I will send it off to you and let's get this started.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that introduction. Appreciate the partnership that Unilog and the Action team have, which we'll talk a little bit more about through the course of this webinar as well. As Jason mentioned, I lead both our product and marketing team here at Unilog. I joined Unilog back in 2021, responsible for the strategic direction, delivery of our content and commerce products, of which we'll weave in and talk a little bit about today. And very passionate about speaking to our customers, about speaking about the topic of B2B e-commerce. So I want to thank you all for joining. By way of background, so some of you may not be totally familiar with who Unilog is, we really partner with our customers, partner with the Action team to create a digital version of your business. Our very unique focus is on making great product content accessible to our customers, and we'll talk about why that's important on this webinar today, and then connecting that product content to digital commerce storefronts. Really think that content and commerce working together is what can really create a personalized and effective e-commerce experience for your customers. We are a company that was founded in 1998, 400 plus employees. As far as North America is concerned, we are headquartered in Wayne, Pennsylvania. We really focus, really since our founding, on the wholesale, distribution, manufacturer, and specialty retail communities. It is for those communities that we've developed purpose-built commerce tools, as well as a product content library that we make accessible for folks. Over and above that, we really focus on specific verticals. So plumbing, HVAC, pipes, valves, and fitting, industrial supply, safety, electrical construction, and farm and ranch. Really excited to be a preferred connected product content and commerce provider along with the Action team. We have several folks, several organizations that we mutually serve in terms of ERP and consultative support, as well as commerce. Into the Action community, we offer content subscriptions to a product content library, which I'll refer to throughout the webinar. We also offer product SKU enrichment. So if you're looking to do e-commerce, but the SKUs that you have aren't really fully enriched and optimized for providing that desired shopping experience, we can help with that. And then, of course, we've got an e-commerce platform as well. So before talking about the B2B buying journey and some effective tactics, as Jason mentioned, which is our topic of today for boosting e-commerce, I wanted to take you all through what I see are some key trends that impact the buying journey, and very specifically impact the buying journey when often that transaction's a B2B, business-to-business transaction. I think these things are key for you all to be aware of, and really set the stage for the topic and the tactics, features, and strategies that I'm going to recommend to you all today. So just quickly, a couple trends as I see it. Certainly, modern B2B buyers expect a seamless and integrated experience when they're interacting with you online. And that can often come through multiple touch points. Maybe it's they're interacting with you on a social, in one of your socials, they're on a mobile app, they bounce to your desktop and web application. They really expect a seamless experience in terms of look and feel and brand identity, but they're also expecting an integrated experience as well. Can I start a transaction in one digital channel and complete that transaction in another. Personalization is absolutely becoming more important. It's been a thing in retail for quite some time, definitely taking on more importance in the B2B realm as well. And I really see it as really not a nice to have any longer. It's a must have. And by personalization, I mean taking your e-commerce experience and often upon login, making that experience really curated and personal for that individual buyer based on the unique things that you know about them. Product content, which has been Unilog's kind of core mission from day one of our founding. B2B buyers need to be able to trust that the thing that they're seeing online is what's going to show up at their doorstep or job site. So detailed product information, specifications, really rich media content is critical to helping your buyers make those informed purchasing decisions. And then one of the things that definitely resonates with me, I talked to a lot of Unilog customers and also a lot of prospects as well. One of the things that we definitely hear from our distributors who are looking to set up an e-commerce channel is that's often being prodded or prompted by their customers. Your customers are coming to you and saying, if you don't have the must-haves on your e-commerce site that I need to be able to transact effectively, I'm going to have to go consider other vendors to make those purchases. So with that said, I wanted to take the team or take the attendees, participants through what I'm referring to as the buying journey. And there are different ways to articulate this and different ways I've seen this presented, but the way I wanted to talk through it with you all today is what are some common phases that your buyers work through when they're on your e-commerce site. And I'm going to organize some features, some strategies that you should be thinking about on your e-commerce site. Or if you're considering adding e-commerce, you should be thinking about asking your potential vendors for that solution. And I'm going to organize those features around how they can help support a buyer in each one of these phases. So I'll go through the phases briefly, and then we'll kind of touch on the key features, tactics, and strategies that you all can be thinking about. So the first phase in the B2B buying experience is what I call the discovery phase. And that's all about ensuring that your e-commerce site is optimized. You have strategies in place that help customers find the things that they're looking for and find it very quickly. Search is a big component of that, but there are other critical pieces that you can be thinking about in order to lead that discovery process. The second phase then is all about engagement. How are you creating personalized experiences for that particular customer or visitor to your site in a way that resonates with their individual buying needs? The third phase is the ordering process. Are you offering a very seamless path to ordering, simple checkout, multiple payment options, one-click ordering? Are you making that process very easy for your users and sort of minimizing abandonment along the way? The fourth phase would be that purchase phase, and that's really in those final steps of checking out. Are there barriers that you may unintentionally be putting in place that are preventing customers from completing that purchase? And I'll talk about throughout this presentation some barriers that maybe you haven't considered or thought of as barriers that could prevent folks from making that final step in purchase. And then finally, the retaining phase. So this is after a customer has visited your site, they found the things that they're looking for, they've added it to the cart, and they've checked out. Was that experience a positive experience? So positive that they would prefer or would come back to your site and repeat that purchase experience again. And we'll talk through some strategies that you all can be thinking about as well. So the way that we've outlined this particular webinar and presentation is we're going to go through each one of those phases. We've developed a series of things that you can be thinking about, mostly feature-driven on your e-commerce site. You don't need to take a screenshot of this. We will provide in a follow-up email an actual checklist of all of the things that we're covering today. And I think that checklist could be helpful you to take back to your internal teams if you're doing e-commerce today and sort of do some reflection and a self-audit. Or if you're thinking about doing e-commerce in the future, that could be a great checklist for you to provide in your procurement process, provide to those e-commerce vendors as a way to kind of help guide that discussion and make sure that they have all of the must-haves that you need. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to rapid fire through some features and some strategies. And I'm going to do that by showing you actual examples of some customers who, in my opinion, are doing these things really well. Some of these customers are running the Unilog platform today. Others are not. But the point is incorporating some things on their site that are really supporting buyers in the particular phase that we're looking for. And for me, in terms of discovery, search is absolutely key, both the user experience, but how you refine and build your search process on the site, and then all about allowing customers to be able to filter down and find things very quickly. So a couple comments on search itself. Does your site support Boost and Bury in the search results? And if it does, are you strategically thinking through how to leverage that Boost and Bury capabilities to really optimize that experience for your customers? What I mean by that is, one, you want to be able to ensure that your customers can find the products that they're looking for very quickly, but it also allows you to highlight in those search results reputable brands, products that perhaps are more profitable or customers are more apt to buy. So definitely something to think about if your e-commerce site and solution supports that. If you have Boost and Bury tools, leverage them and use those. One of the common things related to search is, does your site search present results based on that user's intent? That's a pretty common feature in e-commerce sites, but you can also be thinking about, how do you reflect those search results when you're looking at that user's intent? Cameron Ashley, a Unilog customer, I in particular like how they present that to the user. In this example, I've begun to type insole, meaning insulation, and immediately I get back on the right-hand side of the drop-down here some search results that would be specific to that particular search, along with a visual picture of those products. But then on the left-hand side, I think they do a really nice job of presenting some other things that they think I may be interested in. They do that very cleanly in an organized way. So some related categories, related brands, some other suggested products that may make sense for me. So even if your site does do intent-based search, how are you presenting that to the user? Is it in an organized way that makes sense and resonates with their particular needs? The other thing to think about, and I often see on homepages of e-commerce sites, but not necessarily extended throughout the entire e-commerce experience, which is something you could consider, and that is featured products. Are you featuring products, brands, and manufacturers on your site? And as importantly, are you offering one-click quick access for the user to be able to add those things to the cart? If your site allows you to maintain synonyms and stock words and stem words, all of which work together to sort of interpret what the user is looking for on that e-commerce site, are you building those synonym libraries and maintaining them for the industries, the markets that you serve? In particular, in B2B, that there's a lot of jargon, there's a lot of industry-specific terms. Have you captured that so that your search can take that into consideration and understand some of that technical jargon? As a side note, this is actually a great use case I've seen some Unilog customers use some of the LLMs for, to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, where they're going in and using those tools to rapidly build and expand their synonym library, load that into their e-commerce tool. Just sidebar, effective way to use AI. So great use case there. Think about how your site presents search results. Hubble, not a Unilog customer, but in particular, I like how they've presented search results. One, the search, certainly the Unilog site does this as well, it searches the entire site. It's not just looking at products, it's really reaching into the e-commerce site and looking at other potential matches that you would have against those search terms. So products, maybe web pages, blog posts, documents that you have on your site that match that user's search terms. And I like how Hubble presents those search results so sort of a tabular format, horizontal format there, where they're organizing matches against a suspension clamp in terms of products that match that search result, web pages, documents that they have on your site. And then they go a step further where they're highlighting for that user very specifically on the page what the site found as a match. Really can help your customers find things very quickly. The next round of slides or features that I want to talk through, I'm seeing really explode in the B2B space. And these are things that I would consider beyond traditional search. So beyond the search bar that's there on your e-commerce site. Many B2B companies are thinking about how do we take what can be a complex buying decision with decision points that buyers need to make along the way, and how can we present that in a visual way, in a decision tree way, in a configurator way. So I'm just going to run through very briefly a couple examples of how some Unilog customers are doing this. The first, I believe, is a Standard Supply down in Texas. You know, they're an HVAC distributor. Their HVAC technicians often will come to the site, and they need to make sure if they're out at a job site that they're procuring a part of that HVAC system that has been deemed compatible or certified to work with that unit that they're servicing that day in order to retain things like warranties. And so that can be a complicated buying process. They don't put the onus on the technician to go try to find and determine what those things are. They lead that technician through a wizard-driven process where they pick the unit, it presents to them the applicable items as identified by industry standards that would be certified to work with that unit, and then finally at the end of that process allow the customer to, the technician in that case, to check out. Lots of different examples of this. We have a customer in Alaska who sells very complex industrial hose parts for very large projects. Those purchase decisions are extremely complex. So when a user comes to their site, they're presented with a wizard-driven process that's very visual, where they're defining and building that particular hose assembly that they're wanting. And then as they work through that procurement process, the system's automatically determining what parts in terms of nozzles and spray pattern and other things can be fitted with that hose as they're selecting it. Again, at the end of the process, then allowing them to add that to the cart and check out. That process, if just done through the search alone, would be pretty difficult for a technician or a buyer to do on the site itself. Other things that you can consider, and some Unilog customers have done, is really make the purchasing experience a very visual experience. In this case, Weingart's a power equipment supplier in the Midwest. They allow customers to come to their site, plug in a model number of a tractor or another piece of equipment that they're servicing that day. They can plug in that model number. The system then shows them an exploded view or diagram in a very visual way of all of the parts that are made up within that particular piece of equipment, and it's done in a very visual way. And so the user can look at, the tire or the belt, the spark plug, whatever the case may be, say if that's the part I want to replace, they can hover over that, quickly see pricing and availability, one click, add that to the cart. Replacement part search, there's all kinds of tools out there that Unilog customers have leveraged that leverage good databases of adequate parts that have been deemed as certified for replacement, and then they'll offer that as some additional search options on the site itself. This is the case here with Bluon data. So I don't know if anyone on the call here is an HVAC distributor, but we do have an integration with Bluon for replacement part searches as well. So equally as important as search and the search experience and some of that beyond search concepts that we've talked through, I would say is the way that you categorize and organize the products on your site itself. Have you categorized and organized your products in a way that makes sense for your buyers and how they approach the buying experience? So have you thought through very strategically an industry-specific taxonomy? When I referred to earlier, Unilog is a product content provider as well as commerce provider. This is one of the things that does make us unique. We provide you with a commerce product, but then we also provide you with access to detailed and enriched product SKUs in the verticals that we sell. and we've predetermined or organized those products into industry-specific taxonomies that our customers can take advantage of. So we're providing folks with a commerce solution, but then also the content preloaded on that site in a way, in a fashion that makes sense for your particular industry. And then finally, as the user navigates through the taxonomy or through that categorization and they find the specific items that they're looking for, are you helping them find those specific things that they're looking for through really strategic thinking through the attribution on the site itself? When they're on the product listing page, for instance, are they able to quickly navigate through those things? Previously purchased widgets. So a great way to be able to help customers. They come to the site, they've shopped on your site before. Are you recommending things for them that they've previously purchased? I'll talk through some other tools that we make available, or you should be thinking about making available to kind of help and guide that purchase as well. Just a simple thing here, but something you should be thinking about is, are you allowing customers, particularly in a B2B buying experience where the parts, can be rather complicated, are they able to select 2 or more parts, look at them side by side, highlight the similarities, highlight the differences in order to find very quickly what they're looking for? And then finally in this phase, are you strategically thinking through how you present bestsellers, relevant items to that particular user or shopper when they're on the site? Some of the best performing sites, in my opinion, that Unilog customers have is when they intentionally control and influence on their platform what is a bestseller, what determines relevancy based on that user's path. So if you have those options and your e-commerce tool provider allows you to control that, definitely look into that and use that to your advantage. Okay. The next phase after the discovery phase, we like to call the engagement phase. And for me, this is where product content on your site is every bit as important as the commerce tools that you offer. And so let's go through some examples here. First, we'll start with the actual content of the products that themselves. Are you providing to your users rich, detailed, accurate product SKU content so that they can quickly and in a trusted way find what they're looking for and know that what's going to show up at their doorstep, at their job site, is going to indeed be what they purchased online? The more effort and focus that you put on your products in terms of enriching them for e-commerce needs also can really help boost your SEO ranking as well. Again, this is another thing that Unilog helps our customers with. We have over 10 million plus SKUs in a product content library ready to go for the industries and markets that we serve that are readily accessible to customers who take on a subscription, and then they can add those to their e-commerce site. Kitting and bundling. So if your e-commerce site supports this, you should consider offering or displaying through a kit or a bundle, as I like to call it, other recommended products or other things that should be purchased in conjunction with a particular item when it's viewed on a product detail page. The other thing that I really like in terms of personalization is customer-specific experiences, or in this case, landing pages. So Safeware, a Unilog customer, big company, really operates in a lot of diverse, I would say, diverse market segments or diverse business units. So one thing that they do to kind of help make their very large site feel a little bit more personalized for the user when they log in, the user logs in, they have identified what business unit or market segment that user is associated with. And when that user logs in, they're able to take that very large product catalog and that very diverse site and tailor it down to that specific user. They know based on that user's login, they're part of their industrial and government safety group. And so now they're presenting to that user just government and safety products that are in their product catalog. Maybe they're running some other promotions or have some other language that would be specific to that particular target market. And they're presenting all of that right away when that user logs in. HD Supply, I think, does a great job. They should do a great job on many fronts, But one of the things that I like that they do is they really surface some common actions that users take right on the homepage of their e-commerce site, as well as throughout the site as well. Many e-commerce platforms are going to provide users the ability to add favorites, access their orders, look at order history, look at things that they frequently purchased. But think about how you're curating and presenting that, surfacing that to the user in a way that makes it feel very personal. When they log in, for instance, are they getting a greeting? Do they see very prevalent, maybe right at the top of the homepage, for instance, all of those quick and easy things that they may want to do to be able to manage their account? Other thing to think about is targeted promotion. So I see many customers have site-wide promotions and clearance items, and that's fine. But does your e-commerce product enable you to? And if it does, are you taking advantage of the ability to really target promotions to specific customers? In this case, when I've logged into an e-commerce site, I see promotions that have been very specifically curated or developed for me or folks from my organization. So something to think about in terms of engaging that customer, making that experience feel more personalized for them, is making good use of those targeted promotions. Product recommendations, sort of a classic example here of how to personalize a site. And we have several customers who've really been able to successfully use some AI-based tools out there to be able to look at transaction history as well as other activity that someone is doing on the site or maybe even doing offline. So they're taking all of that activity, running that through some AI or ML-based tools in order to present back to the user in real time and dynamically when they're on the site, hey, here's some other things that are similar to that item that you're looking for. Here's things that others who look like you in terms of how you're shopping and the things that you're shopping for also purchased. Or customers who looked at this item ended up ultimately purchasing this other item. So lots of great examples of AI tools, other ML tools out there that can help create that personalized experience and do that in a very dynamic and sort of low touch or low touch way. Okay, next wanted to move on to the ordering phase. So we've looked at discovery and engagement. So the ordering phase is all about how do we make it really simple for our customers to be able to place an order on our site. And you're going to have diverse needs or preferences across your customer base. So for me here, it's all about, one, certainly ensuring that the pricing is accurate. And for those who've joined that are in the B2B space, you know that customer-specific pricing is absolutely critical and important, as well as availability to reflect on your e-commerce site. But are you providing a variety of different buying tools that customers can use in order to quickly purchase things? They're coming to your site. They might not need or want to search through the site. They already know by the time they land what they want to purchase. Are you making that very easily? And so some common tools here that you can think about would be things like quick order pads. So the ability for your users on your e-commerce site to go to a screen and just in sort of a tabular format or table format, just quickly key in the items that they know that they're looking for and quickly add to a cart, or maybe copy and paste from an export they have out of their ERP or point of sale system, or upload that as a way to bulk order things and to do that very, very quickly. Next, how easy is it for your customers to be able to find the things that they recently purchased or the things that they've most often purchased over a specific period of time? Are you surfacing that for them? And are you making it easy for them on that site to be able to open up a historical order, select one or all of the items that were on that order, sort of in a one or two click process, and add to the cart and purchase? Very helpful for your customers who are coming to your site and have very regular or repeat orders. It enhances their convenience. It can also ensure consistency in ordering as well, and just make sure that they're, help ensure that they're not making a mistake on a repeat purchase. VMI, vendor managed inventory, another great tool for your customers to be able to use, where they can go in and create lists under their account profile. Those lists could represent inventory locations, service vans, really an inventory holding place that they define, and they can go in and set up for each individual item within that inventory location. What's the minimum amount of this item that I want to keep on hand, a maximum amount that I want to keep on hand, and then through a mobile app tethered to the e-commerce site, they can go in and quickly do an on-hand count, add that into that list, and quickly order what they need in order to get them back up to the desired inventory levels. Many Unilog customers have actually used the VMI capabilities within the e-commerce platform to actually provide that as a service, VMI as a service, to their customers, really taking the process of ordering completely out of their hands and taking on that burden themselves. Next is punch out. So we may have some attendees on the call today who do business with government agencies, healthcare agencies, educational institutions. Those buyers may want to purchase from you, but for procurement processes that they have and rules that they have within their organizations, they can't just come to your e-commerce site and order as a normal business would. They have to transact through an in-house procurement system that they have. There are ways to put your e-commerce site, or integrate rather your e-commerce site into those procurement systems. That process is called punch out. You should think about offering that as a service to your customers for those who require it. Allows them to shop your e-commerce site, but to do it from within their procurement system so that they can then follow all of the necessary approvals that are needed internally to check out and make that purchase itself. Even for those customers who don't have the need for a procurement system, you may have some of your customers who have other procurement processes or rules in place. For instance, they may have people on staff who could come to your site and shop for products and buy things, but they can only make a purchase up to predefined spending limit. Does your e-commerce tool, does your e-commerce platform support your customer in that way? Meaning, does it allow for them to maintain and set up those spending limits and to control the workflow around who needs to approve and review those purchases along the way? Their e-commerce site isn't supporting that in terms of managing the spending limits and the workflow approval process. Your customers aren't going to be able to use your e-commerce site. You may force them into a more inconvenient way of doing business with you, unintentionally, but something to consider. And then finally, and perhaps most important in terms of not delaying or stopping the ordering process, is, are you integrating in real time, when necessary, into your point of sale or ERP system so that you're reflecting to that customer when they log in their specific pricing, their specific availability as you've predetermined that. Okay. We'll wrap up here in the next several minutes, but just want to take you through these last two phases, and we can do it a little bit quicker than we have for the first few. But purchasing, so that fourth phase, what can you do at the very last step of that checkout process to ensure that that order is completed? Or are you unintentionally putting barriers in place? Some things to think about here. One would be, if you offer the ability for your customers to do custom quotes, do they know that when they get on the e-commerce site? Are you reflecting that in the checkout process? If they're doing a very large project or complex project, are you inviting them to get that better pricing? One thing I like Gary Pacific, a Unilog customer, I think does really well is, they're making it really easy for their users to order things by curating a list of things that Gary Pacific has predetermined are that customer's favorites. So they are proactively going back and looking through the order history, determining what things that customers most often ordered, and then they're presenting them automatically for the user in terms of favorites that have been curated for them. Do you allow customers in the checkout process to pick one or more items? Say, I want to add this as a subscription, and I want it shipped to me every 30 days or the every other Tuesday. Can be a great way to make sure that that process is convenient for them. If your customers have left the website, they've built the cart and they've left, have you considered engaging, and this is super easy to do, with a cart abandonment solution. Unilog integrates with a company called CartStack, which I would definitely commend their product and solution, where you can engage customers post-purchase with, or post-abandonment rather, with emails, with text messages, or maybe you're not engaging them, but you're sending emails to your sales team or your counter reps saying, hey, someone just left, one of our customers just left the website. They had $20,000 worth of product in that cart. They didn't check out. Maybe it's worth reaching out proactively and making that call. Super easy to engage customers with these tools, but yet I don't see a lot of B2B companies necessarily thinking about this and doing it. And then finally, just a quick remark here on making sure that the very final step of the process is very easy. Are you offering multiple payment methods, if applicable for your business? Are you surfacing and presenting very clearly taxes and freight? Seen some B2B sites that say we're going to estimate taxes and we're going to estimate freight and we're going to send that to you in an invoice after the purchase. That can be a deterrent to many folks, that unknown about what that final price is going to be, and they end up abandoning that cart, maybe jumping to a competitor or working with you in another channel that maybe isn't your preferred channel. Okay. And then finally, with just a minute or two left here, I just want to talk through retention. So after the customer has made a purchase, was that experience something that was very positive for them and something that they'd be willing to come back and engage with that site again? So some things that you can be thinking about here. What are the other account management things that they can do? Can they access their order history? Can they reorder? Can they save carts and come back to it? Can they pay their bills online or access their statements online? Another thing to consider. Loyalty, rewards, and more. I've seen some Unilog customers do a fantastic job of incentivizing their customers to make purchases online as opposed to another channel by giving them additional points or additional rewards or promotions based on an online purchase rather than a purchase in an offline way. Seen some other customers really engage with their customers in other programs, but engage with them through the e-commerce channel. So some examples of that would be like fantasy sports programs and other ways in which other ways in which they engage with their customers, but the point of entry for that engagement is through the e-commerce site itself. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to talk just for a minute or two about the Unilog platform and sort of how we bring all of this together, and then allow Jason to talk through a couple final points from the Aktion side. And I just did want to let folks know that we have developed a checklist of all of those things that I ran through, and we'll make sure that we provide that to you digitally in a follow-up email. But Unilog does have what we call our CX1 platform. That's where we're bringing together for customers who are interested both the ability to access product content that has been fully enriched for e-commerce needs within specific verticals, and then we're marrying or putting together that content with commerce tools. So we have a variety of content programs and commerce tools very specifically for the target verticals we serve. And if you would like to learn more about that, I'd be happy to talk about that. Our flagship product is CX1 SIM2, really purpose-built for the wholesale distribution and specialty retail space. And then another product that we have called CX1 Showroom, that has really been designed and engineered for the decorative plumbing and hardware space. For those folks that are running showrooms throughout the US in that decorative plumbing, decorative hardware space, really great digital representation of your business in both scenarios, both for CX1 SIM2 as well as CX1 Showroom. They reach into or provide you with access to Unilog's vast product content library. So we definitely invite you all, if you're thinking about switching providers, you're thinking about beginning your e-commerce journey, you have content needs, you have commerce needs, to reach out to Aktion, reach out to Unilog. We'd be happy to set up a demo and walk through that with you. So Jason, I will go ahead and hand this back over to you, sir, and then we'll end from there. Thank you.
All right, that was great, Adam. Thank you so much for that very thorough and really interesting presentation you gave us there. So what makes Aktion unique? We're the largest Infor distribution partner in North America. We partner with leading technology providers like Unilog, you've seen here, to transform business operations for our Aktion customers. We deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. For ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go live for you and our customers. Who we are, our company, over 220 employees, more than 6,500 customers. We're a national ERP software reseller and IT infrastructure provider focused on the architectural, engineering, and construction, real estate, distribution, and manufacturing industries. We have 2 company-owned data centers. We're a top 20 VAR in North America, and we won the 2023 Top Place Workplace Award. Once again, I'd like to thank Adam from Unilog for coming and giving us this exciting presentation of all that Unilog can offer. Thank you to everyone for coming and hanging out with us today. I know your day is very busy and important, and we appreciate the time you took to coming out with us today. We will be sending everyone an email with information regarding that checklist that Adam mentioned earlier in the program. So thank you. I'm Jason Naxted. There's Adam, and everyone will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.